Hi, I'm Joe Bolen, and I have just downloaded from ManyCam their brand new software, beta version 8. And beta version 8 is a much different kind of software in the sense that we get a different GUI interface with dark and light modes that we can turn on for our own preference, as well as the layout is different than previous versions of ManyCam. And I'd like to show you some of those and pique your interest in trying out the beta version of ManyCam, or looking forward to installing it later on when it becomes a released version. So let me take you through what's available and give you a little idea how I use it. First of all, I have an opening screen that you just saw that I'm going to transition to, and here is a simple image that I put on as the source. And that source image then has text on it with the start in area, and you can see that highlight up as I click on it. And then it has a timer that you saw do the countdown. And normally what I do is I get my feed going early with the countdown timer so that students can get set up and connected, and they'll know when things start on that and get their own configurations for their own screen and speaker. So this is my countdown one, and then I just use the simple switch over to a blank version that gives me this. And now I'm going to introduce you to the new version of titles, or lower thirds as it used to be called. And you can see I can click on that, bring it in, and it will then go out in a few seconds that I've set for. And that's a nice new feature that is part of the beta. Let me take you over to the titles area, and I'm going to come up to the top here, click on titles. This used to be called the lower thirds, and we have a huge selection. In fact, I'm going to turn it on here right now so you can see that come in. We have a huge selection, and we can change the colors as well, so we can choose what we like to use on that, and we can resize those once we've got it set. So once I've got it all set, I can resize this as well to fit my screen. Now, what makes this one also special is we can turn off the lower thirds or title after a number of seconds that we might select, and or leave it on permanently if we wanted to change that to 0. So that gives it a little bit more dynamic quality. And the beauty about this is that it is not just for bringing in the banner and having that banner everywhere on all the presets, but it's now specific to each preset. So we can have different banners, or I say titles, for each preset that we'd like to have. And that makes it really nice, because before it used to be on all of them, and it was a little bit more difficult to use with that kind of setting. But now it's unique and specific. Then you'll see here that I have a nice split screen set up. I've basically got the background blue image that I created with PowerPoint using their radial blue on that, and I created a picture of it, brought that in as the base layer that I have. Then I brought in the title as one layer, and then my own camera feed as the other layer. So I sort of have a picture-in-picture quality to that. It makes the transition nice, and I can also use the second screen where I have Bolen Presents. I can put in subtitles or bullet points if I want. Then the main screen, as you see here, has just my camera feed right now, but I also have the text, and I'm going to click on the text for this, and you'll see my name down here at the bottom. Very simple. And once again, that's the text like we're used to seeing, but the text now has a little bit more features to it than it had in the past. For example, we now have the ability to have that text scroll if we want to. So there are a lot of nice features with the text. I'm going to turn that off for a moment. And now I have a special effect that I created to give it even more pizzazz. And this was created with version 7, but it came across to version 8 fine. And there's the one that I use when I'm teaching class. So this one is one that I took time to create. And once again, you can have your own effects, or you can use the title area that they give, or the text box ability. Okay, well, those are just some of the basic things that you may be used to already. When I'm teaching class, I always review with the students this particular time and syllabus area. And so I have a PDF file I bring in, and there they can see the PDF file and see when things are due. So that makes it very easy for them to review where they are in the class, what's coming up. And that's a PDF that I just dropped in place as a source. Another one I use is using PowerPoint. And I take the PowerPoint presentation and I just drop it in, and you'll see that I'm also on the screen with a picture-in-picture with my background being transparent. And so I can talk and use my hand gestures and move through the slides as needed to talk about whatever the subject is that day that I'm teaching. So this one is also very nice because you can take the whole PowerPoint. You don't have to try to capture a screen of PowerPoint. You just take that PowerPoint that you've created or are using, you drop it in as a source into your preset, and then modify the preset accordingly. So that is, once again, a nice thing. So I have that preset. Now I'm going to take you to one that I use for quick times when I need to emphasize something. And this is my little Chalk Talks preset. And once again, I have the camera, and I'm picture-in-picture here. The base layer is a source of a chalkboard. And then on top of it, I have the text box put in. And when I'm using this, all I have to do is click on the text area, come down to my screen, and then start typing in over here whatever I want. So I say, my new bit of information. And so I got that in there. We can also make that even scrolling if I want. For example, the text color, first of all, on that chalkboard, I want to be white. So there we go. And I can change the background color so it's really transparent. And then I can make it scrolling as well by turning on scrolling, and I can go left to right or right to left, top down, whatever. And that's also unique to each screen. So we can do that kind of thing. We can have multiple text brought in. Once again, we come up to the text area to do that, which is a nice feature. And because we can scroll it, if we want, that becomes a nice feature as well. And to get rid of that, all I have to do is come up to my area here, hit the I to knock it out, or bring it back in, or exit it out. So I can have a number of text ready to go to show to make it more dynamic on that. Okay, so that gives you some of the things. Now let's take a look at the screen as a whole. And I love that they brought the audio area over here in place with the color bars. As you can see, as I talk, that I'm getting the ability to get feedback to me that my sound is not too loud, not too soft, and that color bar gives me good feedback. The sound system sounds is when I'm playing or doing something through the computer, that picks up, and I have that set. So that picks up anytime I run anything that would normally come out to the speakers. And then I have my theme music, the Happy Mandolin, that I just click on and click off. I've got it set for a short duration, and it runs and stops on that. So I just start it and lead into the particular lesson. So this is a nice feature to have the sources over here. And as you can see, as I'm looking at my main screen here, I have a lot of things I can do as well as the effects. Now, I do have some other screens that I don't use very often, but they allow for a little bit of excitement and entertainment. For example, I took a picture of my living room, and now I'm in my living room doing that, which makes it nice for conversations and talking to people that you want to make informal. Then we have some others that are a little bit different. For example, this is Crazy Joe here, and so you can use the effects on that, and I called it Crazy Joe for the text area, and then the effects I brought down. All I have to do is click on the effects area, and the effects are very much like version 7, and you can pick face mask and different things. For example, if I click on face masks, you'll see many other which I could choose from on that. So Crazy Joe can be a little wild and crazy when he needs to help maybe make things a little bit more interesting. And then I, of course, have my favorite one out at the golf course at Mar-a-Lago. Mr. Trump, let's go play golf. So we can have some fun things with the mask as well. So that's the effects are always nice on that to keep things entertaining. And we got transitions like this. So we've got different ones we can use on that. I've got a simple one. If I have to get away from the screen for just a minute, I'll be back later, and that little clock goes flying around. Once again, we can drop animated GIFs right into things. This is one where I might bring in somebody as an additional speaker and put them in this circle area. We can control the layout. For example, let me go back to the main screen, and I can go up and change the layout so I can zoom in on myself if I want. Whoa. Or we can change the radius, which gives it in a vignette look. As I bring that in, you can see it coming in. Now, if my image is sized as a square, that becomes a nice round shape. So we can do it that way to get that round shape that you saw with that one that I just showed you. The ability to have the virtual ability, I have a green screen, so I've clicked that on and I've hit the color picker. There is some advanced information if I want to do some adjustment on that, which is all here nice and available to you as you're working with your screen. Also, while you're working live, you can right click on a screen that you're with, and you can then edit that screen without broadcasting it live so that you can make any modifications before you click on it as live. So there are a lot of good features, and you just saw a little bit pop out my overlay mode. What I normally do is I have my overlay mode set so that slide 9 is my desktop. And so what I do is I click to my overlay mode. I don't know how this will pick up, but I click to it to go into overlay mode. And I do that by just coming up here where it says overlay. And I know that option screen 9, if I hit Alt 9, will allow that screen to show. So I'm going to click on it. You'll see me first, and then I'm going to hit Alt 9, and it'll go to a screen that is showing up. Right now, it's not showing much that you might want to see. Let me make that minimized a little bit. Now I'll bring it back and bring back myself first with an Alt 4. And then I'll exit overlay and come back into full mode. So there are a lot of good things. We also have in overlay mode the ability to draw. We have the ability to draw here as well. And I'm going to click on the draw drop down, and I can click on like a pencil and write my name. And you can see over here I've got different things. I can also choose maybe the stamp one is sort of fun. There I can pick something like thumbs up on that, give them thumbs up, or maybe the heart is a nice one on that. And we can, of course, clear that out very easily with the trash can or the undo. And We have the eraser in there, and then we can also do the fill. If I hit the fill, what I would do, first of all, is create a box. So I'm going to create a box real quick, like that. And then I'm going to hit the fill button over here, and I'm going to change the color for the fill to, oh, let's go with yellow or something like that. And now I just have to come up here and put my cursor right there, and it's filled. Now, if I came outside, it filled the whole screen, so we want to watch that. Okay, and then once again, I can undo that last activity on that, or I can hit the trash can and get rid of everything on that. So we can do that in the live mode on that. I can also do that in the overlay. Now, the overlay mode has some extra features. We have the whiteboard in the overlay mode, and those are things that are really nice when you need to express to your students things that maybe not be able to be done easily with a PowerPoint or something else. You have that whiteboard sketching that you can draw and write on and do different things with. So version 8 is really nice. They've moved some of the controls to the top. You also see that I can set the resolution in frames per second right here close to me. And also I can have that full screen feedback on there. And what I normally do is I have a second screen set up. I click on that and move that full screen feedback of what's live to a different monitor so I can see that as I'm running. Or I might use the second monitor to be out at YouTube or at Facebook and see people's comments, and then I could comment either through the screen and my speaker, or I can comment directly by typing. So there's different ways we can make it very versatile for live streaming. I just find it really a nice new package, and the only thing I've found a little bit buggy is the blur that you see up here. Sometimes it doesn't quite blur the way I would want it. I'd like to have a slider bar to make it a little bit more blurry if I need to, but it's there for us, and I'm sure they'll work on that as they come out and adjust version 8 for us. One of the things that is missing in the beta is the guest feature, but once again, we can bring in guests by Skype, and we can bring in that NDI interface to bring them into a source and bring them into our presentation. So there's a lot of good things. The layout's different, but the bugs are much more gone from earlier versions, and it is much more responsive to your needs. So take a look at ManyCam Beta version 8. Either get ready to purchase it or maybe upgrade your own right now. I have the lifetime license, which allows me to upgrade anytime they come out with something new. And I really appreciate that ability, and they're always coming out with something better on that. So as you think about using a video for your classroom or for your video conferences or YouTube creation, what have you, I think you'll like using ManyCam. And this version 8, which is now in beta, that you can download and try out, is really fun to try out. You can get that download at manycam.com/beta on that, and install it and try it out on that. In the meantime, take care, enjoy, take care.